Hello everyone, sorry here. Today we're going to do meta talk. We're going to talk about the different decks. I'm a bit late on this. Usually upload around Thursday or Wednesday, but better late than never. We still have at least maybe 24 hours. America has more than 24, so they got time to figure out the lineup, right? Most people have maybe two decks already figured out and they want the third deck. Maybe this is helpful. But yeah, we'll talk about like different popular decks that are performing well on ladder, how they're holding up in tournaments, which are the popular tournament decks, and some different lineups we could take. And I'm gonna talk about like different strategies you want to adopt while going into the open. So right now we want to look at which deck is currently dominating the meta, right? So right now we have Janna Nila dominating the meta, most popular deck on ladder and in tournaments, is performing well in tournaments as well. So when going to the open, you have to have that in mind. You either want to be good into Janna Nila, counter it, you either want to ban it, or you want to be okay into it. Be on the safe side. You don't have to ban it, but at the same time you're not scared to match into it. There are other Janna decks that you could see, something like Janna Timo. There's a Janna Timo, and there's Janna Seraphine. Most cases you will match into a Janna deck. It's just too popular, right? And too good. So 90% of your games will be Janna, so you have to expect matching into Janna, and you could build a lineup to target Janna decks. A lineup that targets Janna decks, you could bring something like a Darius Gnar, really good at Janna decks because of the OVO and win condition you set up. Same thing with Jackson. Jackson is good into Janna decks because it sets up an OVO and win condition, and they don't really have the capabilities to deal with it, except for Janna Seraphine. They might have a recall or something, or a stun or something like that. But Janna Nila and Janna Timo will struggle a lot against those two decks. Jackson, Darius Gnar. Now third deck, you could bring something that is also good into Janna, or you could bring Janna Nila, and then you have like a 50-50 matchup, or you could bring Janna Timo, which is slightly favored into Janna Nila, or you could bring something like a Scouts, which is a really close matchup, or which is now getting really popular, Galio Volibear. Let me see if we can find Galio Volibear. It fell out of the meta, but now it's making a comeback. And Galio Volibear, let's look here. I think it shows better stats, right? It gives us matchups. So Galio Volibear is favored against Janna Nila. It can beat Janna Nila. There we go. And it beats Scouts, which is two decks that are really popular right now on ladder, right? We've got Janna Nila and Scouts really popular. So we might see a lot of Galio Volibear. It might be a sleeper deck right now. It has a huge potential. It doesn't auto lose to Ashe LeBlanc, and it does okay into, like, slightly unfavored, but it can beat it, right? Other decks were good into Karma set, really good, but I don't think you're gonna see a lot of Karma set. It's kind of like people that really love playing control will probably bring it. Karma set is good into stuff like Ashe LeBlanc, Darius Gnar, but it loses to Janna Nila, so their matchup will be, with their plan will be to ban Janna Nila. But that's an anti-meta lineup, right? Darius Gnar, Jackson, Galio Volibear, or Janna Nila, or Scouts. Those three decks can work with this lineup. Another lineup you could bring, which is currently the most popular lineup, it did well in multiple tournaments, community tournaments, which is Janna Nila plus Set Seraphine plus a third deck. So the third deck could be something like a Shen Jarvan, could be something like Misfortune Quinn, and could be something like a Galio Volibear, for example. This lineup wants to have like a good matchup to the majority of the decks you might face, and you want to protect the weakest deck depending on your opponent's lineup. Like, let's say opponent has Darius Gnar, then you ban Darius Gnar to defend Janna Nila if you expect them to keep Janna Nila open. If you see, for example, Janna Nila and you have a Shen Jarvan in your lineup, you want to ban Janna Nila to protect your Shen Jarvan because it's really bad. So those kind of things. This lineup has won two big tournaments so far. The ABG tournament and the Duck tournament. The Duck Cup tournament. So it's really popular, and a lot of people might bring something close to that. It's just the third deck might vary, and the third deck depends on which deck you want to ban. So let's say you want to ban, you don't want to ban Jannanila. Let's go into the tournament. We don't want to ban Jannanila. We can beat it with. I'm confident with my mirror matchup. I'm confident with Set Seraphine. I want a third deck that doesn't auto lose to Jannanila. So we have something like Scouts, and we have something like Galio Volibear. We also have Darius Gnar if you want to go all out on just beating Jannanila. You could go Darius Gnar. But Galio Volibear looks good so far, especially that it doesn't auto lose to Scout. It does actually really well into Scouts. This is the second lineup. Third lineup, ban Jannanila. So we don't want to match into Jannanila. We don't want to play against the Janna deck. We just want to ban it on the spot. We could bring something like Ash LeBlanc, very popular deck on ladder. Has okay win rate, has a good win rate, and it beats a lot of meta decks. It has okay matchup to Scouts, although slightly favored because Scouts can go really wild on the board and start going face. So we're okay-ish into Scouts. We beat Darius Gnar Overwhelm. We beat Caitlyn Timo. We beat No, we don't beat Shan Jarvan. Shan Jarvan actually beats us. And we're okay into Poro King and stuff like that, right? So what do we want to bring with Ash LeBlanc? So we can bring something like Shan Jarvan, which also wants to ban Jannanila. We don't want to match Jannanila. And the third deck could be something like a Scouts, which would be okay because Scouts has a good matchup into a lot of things. You could bring Jannanila as well in this lineup, and you just ban Jannanila, right? Because Jannanila does well into a lot of stuff. The problem with Jannanila, if you bring it in this lineup, is that Jannanila does not beat Darius Gnar. So that's kind of the problem, right? That's why you favor bringing something like a Scouts, because now you can beat Darius Gnar. You're okay into Ash LeBlanc. You beat Caitlyn Timo. You beat Karma Set, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure about Aatrox Kane and Deep. I don't think you're gonna see a lot of these. Poro King maybe. Another lineup, if another deck you could bring, if you're looking to demolish Seraphine decks or Janna decks, for example, is Fizz-Yumi. Fizz-Yumi I've been seeing a lot of play right now, and this deck uses Fizz as a win con, and it's very difficult for the opponent to kill Fizz, right? You buff him up with Yumi or Bone Club and starts pushing elusive damage, very difficult for the opponent to kill. Teemo Yumi is also not a bad deck to bring. Teemo Yumi isn't too bad into Jannanila, if I remember. Let me see if I can find it here. There it is. Yeah, it's good into Jannanila. Okay into Scouts, base Caitlyn Timo. But the main goal is to beat Jannanila, right? That's kind of the main goal. And it's not bad into Ash LeBlanc. So it can fit with an Ash LeBlanc lineup. Not with Ash. It can fit with an Overwhelm lineup. Darius Gnar, Jaxorn, and Teemo Yumi, for example. You could bring this lineup along with them. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's currently the good decks right now. Not really doing too well. Bard Nora. These Cannon Jinx, I've seen some people bring it to the tournament, but they didn't do well. About Galio Volibear, I just remembered. So some people are cutting 2 Volibears out for an Udyr to have a better mid game, right? So that is also a consideration if you want. So I saw here Galio Udyr, see, 57% win rate, which looks like it's doing a little bit better. So you could maybe add 2 Udyr and cut 1 Volibear and keep 1 Volibear in the list. Janna Seraphine is doing it's good, but it's better in tournaments. But the thing is, you don't want to put most people don't want to put these 2 champions together. So they'd rather put Janna in another deck and Seraphine in another deck. Karma, where is Karma? Karma Set Freljord. So this deck can beat Ash LeBlanc, and it's not too bad into Scouts. It's okay-ish. It does lose to Jannanila. So if you bring Karma Set, you want to ban Jannanila. So you might bring it in the Ash LeBlanc plus Shan Jarvan lineup or something like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say. Good luck in the tournament. Hopefully it goes well for you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Take care and goodbye.